live, people. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday morning. It's actually February 1st of 2020. So it's really 2-1. Tomorrow's a good day, 2-2. But 2-1 is amazing because we're going to have a beautiful conversation today with the one and only Justin Fromkin, who is today 7 years clean. We're going to hear a story. We're going to hear about the pains. We're going to hear about the struggles. We're going to hear about the good times. We're going to hear about his mom, who was there along the way, who's a complete badass. So we're going to have a good time. Today is the day. So as we get going, because we're on Facebook Live, you guys know all the rules, right? I'm going to go through them again just in case you forgot them. But here they are. So Facebook Live rules go like this. You're going to smash the heart button. Just click the shit out of it because you love doing it. And Facebook loves you doing it because the algorithm blows up and more people get to see this. Number 2, you want to tag someone. Anybody struggling with any kind of addiction. Let me explain this. Addiction could be substance. Addiction could be liquid. Addiction can also be emotions. We're going to talk about all that today. So anybody struggling with any kind of emotional anxiety, panic, all that fun depression stuff, tag them here. Share. There's a button right below right now. That's you can click on that. You can share it with somebody's page on Facebook. And of course, comments are the biggest deal that we're going to have. Well, comments, and of course, we're going to talk about watch parties. But the first comment I have for you guys is what addiction, and listen, this is social media, so we have to be social. We don't want to be talking at you. It's a conversation between all of us. So please, please, please drop comments. So my first question for everybody watching this live or replay is, what addiction have you had to battle? It could have been food. It could have been tequila. It could have been emotions, drama. You follow me? Drop them in the comments. What was your addiction that you had to deal with or maybe still dealing with? So, and then of course, last but not least, do your own watch party, because what happens on Facebook Live, if you don't want to do your own Facebook Live to have this conversation, you can host a watch party with this video here. You can click on the button right now or anytime later and host your own watch party. This way you have a conversation with your audience and you now become the authority because you are the liaison, the broker between the two parties, us and your audience. So you know what to do. I would like to introduce the one and only Mr. Badass. We met, I'm going to say this last year in 2019, we met in Nashville, Tennessee, that is, and have become very, very close ever since with him and his mom, Beth, who a lot of people know Beth, a lot of people know him. Today marks a phenomenal timestamp in your journey, and today we're going to talk about it. So welcome to the show, Mr.
Thank you for having me, Andre. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
My pleasure, brother.
Especially on such, an important day to me, my family, most of all, my mother. Today's more like a birthday than anything. It's how we've looked at it for a lot of years. I lived a whole nother life, and I'm telling you, drug addiction was the hardest job I ever worked.
Yeah, I can imagine. We'll get to the addiction part in a minute. I want people to get to know you for a minute because, look at you. You're a ball of energy. You got a phenomenal smile, energy coming out through your eyes. So I understand what you're saying, and I actually appreciate what you just said, that today is more like a birthday because you got a second chance.
Absolutely.
Like you were reborn, right? Which means Jason Bourne has got nothing on you. I'll tell him I got this one. So let's go back. I guess I want people to know you. I want them to know your upbringing. I want them to know just who Justin is as a human being. And then we'll get to the level of the other stuff and the struggles, etc. But who's Justin? Tell me about your background.
Where do you want to start? Like childhood and stuff like that?
Yeah, man.
I grew up in New Jersey at a young age, until 10. Life was great. The last few years prior to moving to Florida weren't so great. Lost my great-grandmother, hospiced my great-grandfather with my mother until he passed, hospiced my grandmother, to aunts. A lot of death involved in my life. But my family was always strong at home. My parents, my little sister. So we had a strong family, and times things get rough and business gets rough. And we ended up transitioning from Jersey to Florida. In the transition, we bunked up in a 36-foot motorhome for a little bit till we found a place in Florida. And the struggle is what makes the family so much stronger.
Absolutely.
Now having a family of my own, it's like, I have my own struggles in my family, and it's like, I look at things at a different perspective now in life. But, I had a regular childhood. I just like to have fun until, I hit my teenage years and started having too much fun.
Aha. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that really quickly before we get into the too much fun part. I've been there, done that. I had too much fun too, but you went a little bit too far. But we're gonna bring it back. But let's talk about that. What was your teenage before you started the partying? What was teenage life like? Who were you like? Did you have dreams of becoming? Like I actually wanted to be a cop on the moon when I was a kid.
I wanted to be a cop on the moon,
bro. What's up? Don't hate.
That's ambition.
Come on, baby.
I mean, look, it's possible. You got this guy Elon Musk talking about putting 1 million people on Mars. You might have a job in the future.
Bro, I'll get there before him. I got to provide security.
Oh man. So
yeah.
So teenage years, I'd say roughest time for me starting out, getting into my teenage years, started when I left for Florida, about 10. Things were rough for about 3 years. I didn't know how to cope with the death of my grandmother. She was my best friend. She took care of me on a daily basis when I was a baby. My mother worked 3 jobs. My dad worked full time, and grandma was my buddy. And, I was with her pretty much till her dying day. I think the thing that affected me the most is the night before she passed, she gave me a call, and, it was real emotional. And she's like, look, I've never broken a promise to you, but I think I have to break my first promise. Long story short, she basically, I told her that I don't want you to suffer anymore. And if you're going to die, it's okay. Because she promised me that she was going to make it to my bar mitzvah, which never happened. And, she's pushed hard and struggled and struggled. And I gave my grandma permission to go, and I never really forgave myself for that for a long, long time. I kind of felt guilty. I mean, that had a big effect on things that started transpiring in my life from that point on is, I didn't cope with it. So I met friends when I moved down to Florida and started smoking pot. And, things just, as a teenager, just go on from there. And went to, drinking some beers on the weekends out of someone's dad's garage fridge. And, then there was, a whole Xanax thing. And it was just a turmoil. It was like a cyclone that just kept going on. And I mean, it helped. It helped me. I mean, smoking pot, getting drunk, it helped. I didn't have to feel that guilt. I didn't have to feel the pain of telling my grandmother, go ahead and die.
So did you carry forward this feeling, the guilt? Was it because you gave her permission to die, she died?
Yeah. I mean, that's the guilt that I carried.
Got it. And you felt she would not have died, or she would have lived longer if you didn't give her permission.
If I didn't tell her it was okay, she would have. She would have fought and fought and fought. And she would have. And I know her. She fought for months just to try to make it a few more years for me. And I mean, she had 11 grandkids, and I was like the Messiah when I walked in the room. Like nothing else in the world mattered.
Yeah.
It was rough. And then I started hanging out with the wrong crowd and doing all these crazy things. I mean, I started with the minor drugs, the little things here and there, the experimenting. And around 13, 14, I'd say I was still doing just smoking and drinking some Xanax here and there, maybe a couple pain pills out of someone's dad's closet. And then the crime started. Crime started at 13. I got my first charge. I was arrested for grand theft auto.
Damn, you were committed, bro. I mean, like you're.
I mean, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. We were at the neighborhood. These guys wanted golf carts.
Amen.
They're doing this. I'm like, fuck that. I'm getting a gas one. We're making moves.
We're going.
It was gas. It was over 49 cc's. So now it's considered a motor vehicle.
Yep.
So I was charged with Grand Theft Auto. And that was the beginning. From there, I was arrested. I got in a fight in a shopping center. Took off running from the cops. Resisting arrest was the next one.
Yeah.
And then it went on. There was a car parked on the side of my house. I mean, I was fucked up. I thought it was my car. It looked exactly like it. When I opened the car, it wasn't my car. But there was a fat wad of cash sitting in the center. I mean, I'm looking for the next high at that point. So it's like free money.
Yeah.
This guy literally saw me grab it, jumped off the roof, jumped off a 2-story roof, started chasing me down.
Wow.
Ended up in jail for that. And then I had a little plateau for a little bit.
So I want to know, because the story goes, you went from giving your grandmother permission to moving to Florida and starting to not deal with the pain, but you started putting Band-Aids on the pain to cover it up by using drugs, getting into stupid shit, etc.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me this, because my goal in this conversation is for people that are struggling, or maybe that have kids of the age, or it doesn't really matter what age you are, because the human dynamic is identical for all of us, whether you're 12 or 50. Our needs inside, our emptiness, how we beat the shit out of ourselves. There's nobody better to put me down than me. I mean, I got this, right?
You could just, I can put myself down better than anybody.
Exactly, right? So you're at the time you gave your grandmother permission, you obviously beat yourself up for that. So then therefore you went through all kinds of levels of not feeling significant,
there's a
good
bad energy.
Bad juju, right?
I mean, look, I had a shrine. In my bedroom. I had her grave marker, things that I took from her house. I had a fucking shrine, man. It was my mom took it all out and threw it all away. She's like, no, she's like, you can't have this anymore. It's like enough. It's just bringing bad energy in. And
and then
what really started it too is at that point, mom tried to get me. The school didn't want me back to school because I'm suspended every other day and this and that. So mom was told, he's expelled if you don't take him to a psychiatrist.
Right.
At that point, they're pumping me full of all types of shit.
Yeah, of course. It's their job.
So the shit that I was doing at this point is no longer working because they got me jacked up with all this other crap. So it's now I'm looking for something else. It's better than that.
Yeah.
And it's just... it's crazy. The way things transpire. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I do not regret my addiction. I do not... I embrace it at this point. I'm 1,000 times stronger of a person because of it.
Yep.
I mean, I got the chance to live a whole life already.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you already are a blessing to so many other people, and you're going to save lives, and you're doing phenomenal. And yes, I appreciate the fact that you're not, judging it and accepting it. And the fact that this is your second chance, second go around, second life, however you want to break it down. So then once you got into the wrong crowd, now in Florida, once you got into with the wrong people, if you will, not only were you in consuming drugs of different levels to be able to cope with the pain because it numbed you, but now you started doing things for the people, for the friends. Like cars, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I started out fucking selling some weed, and I made a lot of money, and I had dreams and ambitions. I'm gonna be full-time drug dealer. I'm gonna make millions of dollars. I'm a cocaine cowboy, and
nice.
So when you start doing things like that, there's a lot of things that are entailed in keeping that job. You got to keep a status. You got to be on your feet. Yep. You got all types of things happening. People trying to rob you, all types of stuff, and it really brought my life into a whirlwind. Which brings me to one of the most traumatizing deaths. Most of all, my friends, my buddy Mike Marino, who's my business partner. So my buddy, my best friend, my mom's best friend. My mom loved him more than anything in this world, him and two other people. And that was my partner in crime for a long time. And that's when my weed selling went to cocaine selling. And so then it got big into the pills, the oxys. That's when things really got crazy. So at that point, it was me, my buddy Mike Marino, who passed away, and my other friend Robert Velez. Robert's doing 33 years in federal prison right now.
Damn.
So one of the other deaths, my aunt, who I helped hospice, my aunt Patty, she passed away, and I jumped on a plane from Florida to New Jersey. This was the first saving grace that happened. My aunt's death saved my life. Greatest thing that could have happened if she passed when she did. If she did not, I'd be right with him doing 33 years. So we were big into the doctor shopping. I was seeing 2 doctors a day, 6 days a week, minimum prescription of 180 Roxys. I was acquiring tens of thousands of pills a week between me and 3 other people. We were taking trips to Tennessee because at that point, Tennessee was $30 a pill. We were paying like 25 cents at the pharmacy. My aunt dies. I go to the funeral. He goes to Tennessee. I guess he got arrested for like automatic weapons and possession, trafficking, oxycodone, over state lines, over 10,000 pills. It was a mess.
Wow.
Yeah. So that happened. And at that point, I mean, I had so many pills. I was like full blown into my addiction. And that's when my first serious charge came. I was looking at 25 years in prison. I got arrested for 2 aggravated assault with a firearm. The charge stated aggravated assault with a firearm with intent to commit harm, bodily injury, death, or disability. And it wasn't even my battle, but when I call somebody my friend, I'll go to the ends of the earth for them. And it was New Year's Day. Was so hungover, still fucked up from the New Year's Eve party I threw at my mom's house because she was out of town. So I had a bunch of people over there. My mom had to throw her computer away because there was like imprinted images on the hard drive that the computer guy couldn't even get out. We had like naked broads on the table. It was a crazy party.
Wow.
But I woke up about 10 in the morning or about 10 o'clock at night the next day to a buddy calling me. He's about to get beat up. I went to help him out and ended up going to jail. And when you're in addiction, probation, and house arrest and stuff like that, I mean, I was on house arrest waiting for trial for 2.5 years. I mean, what else did I have to do at that point?
Right.
Stuck in the house. So I moved a couple of my friends in and started selling drugs out of my mother's house and getting high. And, then I started robbing my mother. Probably took her for about $1.5 million between money I took. Probably got a good 300,000 of that just in the lawyers and bond money. I put my family through hell. I mean, what I did to myself was my problem. And, I dealt with it as my problem. But when you're getting high and you're in that addiction, you don't realize how bad your family is suffering worse than you. And I never really fully grasped that until about 5 years ago, after the birth of my daughter. And I don't even think it was right after the birth. I think it was around the time she was 1. When she first really caught like her first sickness, she got a cold and turned into like an ear infection and this and that. And it's like, no matter what I did, I couldn't help my fucking kid feel better. And I sit here sometimes and I think about what my mother probably felt. I mean, one time she's in my room giving me CPR and resuscitating me. Next morning, a couple months later, nobody could find me. Thank God nobody could find me in the house. Thank God my little sister's like, oh, I saw him go into your bedroom. So mom's running, charging across the room, thinking I'm in there trying to rob her. Finds me in the bathroom with my face in the toilet and throw up. I started throwing up and passed out in the toilet. I was drowning myself in throw up. Another time I ate a bunch of pills and ate like 200 Xanax in somebody's car so I didn't get arrested and ended up in the hospital, getting my stomach pumped. She's resuscitated me probably 3 times, twice in the hospital. But I really knew the pills got hard to get because they stopped and shut down the clinics and stuff. And supposedly I was going to go get clean. So my mom sent me out of Florida and moved me to New Jersey. Bad decision. She thought, maybe I'll go to Jersey. He doesn't know people there. He's got friends. He's got family. At that point, there was no family. Nobody really gave a shit. I still have family members to this day that call me and apologize for not being there for me. Maybe we could have helped. So I went to New Jersey, and pills up there at that time were $30 a piece and hard to get. So I fell in love with my new best friend. I married a bag of heroin one day.
Oh,
Started snorting heroin, and it was all cool and dandy, and wanted to go back to Florida. I was tired of the cold weather, and I moved to Daytona, Florida. Daytona was a major turning point. It's when I started using needles. And at that point, drugs aren't even an addiction. You get more addicted to the needle than anything. Realized that when if I didn't have anything to get high with, that I could just inject myself with water, and psychologically it would make me feel better. I wouldn't be dope sick. And that's when I realized there was a problem. So ended up back in Jersey and then back to Florida to my mother's house. And she gave me an ultimatum. Enjoy getting high. I don't give shit anymore, but get the fuck out. Or get sober and you can stay here. So I called her. I said, okay, I'm going to get sober, blah, 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 whatever. And me and my junkie mind state, it's like, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my GED. I said, can I get $80 for the test? So, I mean, I was a garbage can at that point. It didn't matter what the drugs were. But that $80 went so fucking quick.
Oh, I'm
So
sure
it went,
right?
yeah, real quick. Went and grabbed some fucking drugs, got high, and I was driving back to my house, and I pulled into the back of the neighborhood to Mom's house, and to this day, I can't describe the feeling. I really can't try to think about what that feeling was, and I can't pinpoint it. But something made me call my mother and tell her to come outside. She's like, I'm cooking. I'm like, fuck your food. You need to come outside, get in my fucking car, and take a drive with me, or just call the coroner. Let's go pick out a coffin. Like my mother bought me a fucking plot. I have a plot right next to my grandmother because my parents were convinced they were burying me. It's sad when you have to go buy your kid a plot. And she came outside, got in the car, and she's like, you're high, get the fuck out of here, come get your shit, it'll be in the driveway. I said, no, you need to, I need some fucking help, or I'm dying. I want to go to a real program. Later that night, my mom's never really been big into the AA thing or Al-Anon or any of those support groups. And a friend of hers was down staying at the house and was like, why don't you just come to an Al-Anon meeting? So she went for some reason, and some lady was on vacation at this meeting in Florida, and now she's from Jersey, and everybody knows my mom. Oh, New Jersey. So she got talking to this lady in the parking lot, and her son they live about 20 minutes where I grew up in New Jersey. They live in Freehold. Her son actually had about 6 years sobriety and was working at the rehab that he went to in Louisiana. I went to Narconon, and it's non-traditional, non-AA, non-NA, non-medical detox. So that was interesting. They really make you sweat it out. But it saved my life. And I'm here today. I have 5 beautiful kids. I got a beautiful wife. I got a shithead for a little brother, but I love him. He's getting it together now. And, today's a rough day for me. It's really rough. I sit back and I'm like, yeah, I made it. I'm here. I mean, I called my mom this morning, 3:30 in the morning, woke her up. I just needed to talk to her. The worst thing that happened was my buddy Brett Schneider died. He was that kid and me. We probably had the same blood somehow. My mom and him were very close, closer than him and his mother. He used to call my mother and like just come lay in her bed and like cry on her shoulder when like he was like trying to get sober himself. This is the first time I've actually spoke this story to an audience. Spoke about any of this other than people that directly know me. Brett's dad found him in his bathroom about 4 days after he overdosed. Sometimes I look at today as like a punishment. Why is everybody gone? Why am I here? I still to this day don't understand why I deserve to be alive. And some of my best friends, my brothers, are just gone. I got a buddy, Brian, who also passed not too long ago. Mike, Brian, and Brett were my three best friends and my mom's boys. Those are my mom's boys. And Brian was never a drug addict, but intentionally overdosed and took his life over a girl. And I look at this day and it's just, I just wonder why I'm still here, what I did to deserve to live, what my purpose is. I mean, I look at my kids and I guess that's my purpose, but I know there's something more out there. And speaking with my mother and my wife, I guess this is a good time to make the announcement since we're live on Facebook. I'm having a major gathering after my house is done being rebuilt since our house fire. I'm having a very large event on July 4th. Anybody is welcome to show up. I'm going to be launching my nonprofit organization.
Boom!
My main goal, I'm going to be naming it the Schneider Foundation after my buddy Brett. My foundation's main goal is to fully fund people's going to rehab. You don't have insurance, you can't get shit. You go into a shithole, they've just funneled you out, you're nothing but a number. I want to be able to put people into actual rehabs, private rehabs, and actually give someone a real shot. So that's my biggest announcement and my goal for this year is to get my nonprofit going.
So number one, your nonprofit is the goal is to completely fund people going to rehab. Outside of that, the completely funding part, through your experience and the nonprofit coming up, how many lives do you feel you can touch?
Honestly, if I could touch one, it would mean the world.
Boom.
If I could touch one, if I could touch two, it would make the world.
Yeah. So you a couple of minutes ago you just said, because there's a similar pattern to where you beat up yourself for your grandma because you gave her permission, and today you're still beating yourself up. Why you and why not Schneider? Why not your friends? But listen, there's a global epidemic. There's a phenomenal spiritual warfare that's devouring these kids. So whatever you believe in, God, universe, you're the chosen one. I mean, that's a big fucking deal, brother. So I guess the conversation I want to have quickly is to flip that script, to go into like, wow, you're trusting me. You want me to spearhead this movement, and I got this. And flip that script into believing in yourself because you are a fucking badass.
I know. I try to keep that mindset. I've just had a lot of struggles.
Right? Like, listen to me, because you know very well, without having your experience, you could not be doing the nonprofit. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
So all it was fucking boot camp.
Yeah, I got to plug in. All right, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it was definitely a boot camp. I mean, after I talked to my mom, I got in the shower last night, and I was just thinking about everything that transpired. And I mean, my kids wouldn't be here if I'm not here. I got great kids. I got fucking children, and it's sad what this country has done to us. It allowed this to happen. We could have prevented it. We could have prevented thousands of lives.
Absolutely. But the system has flaws and issues, and big pharma is obviously all for money, all for addiction, all for disease care. They're not in healthcare. They're in fucking disease care and addiction care. So, You're wearing the Trump hat.
I mean, look at doctors, man. Doctors don't cure shit. They just treat.
They're part of the same. They're part of the same money.
I know it's sick, and the government's involved in it.
Right.
I mean, pharmacies. It's just crazy.
Because think back on your addiction. Because I listened to what you said. You got into weed. You got into cocaine. You got into this. You got into that. But the biggest pop for you was Oxy.
Yeah, the opiates, government-funded drug.
Amen. Because why? Because that completely restructures your DNA. It's the only drug. Marijuana doesn't fuck with your DNA. Cocaine doesn't touch you. LSD doesn't. What touches your DNA and restructures you as a human nervous system? Opioids.
Yep. Disgusting. I mean, even after years of sobriety, I mean, one of the biggest problems I think with people staying sober is drug residual.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two types of relapse out there. Some people don't know this. There's physical and there's mental. So physical relapse would be like driving by a gas station where it's like, oh, yeah, I used to pick there, and it gets that thought in your head. What people don't understand though is your body every 7 to 10 years does a full cleansing cycle of itself.
That's right.
So during this 7-year period to 10-year period, your body is slowly releasing
the shit
into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
Drug residuals hit your bloodstream and shoot right to your brain. And now you're craving drugs. So the rehab I went to, they have a 30-day sauna program. At first, I'm like, shit, cool, handfuls of pills. These people would give me cups of vitamins and cell salts and sodium, potassium, and like the most disgusting drinks in the world you've ever probably looked at.
Oh, yeah.
They looked worse than they tasted, but 35 days in a sauna, 5 hours a day, jacked up on all these vitamins, and I felt I was nodding out from heroin in this thing. A couple of days I was in there, I started sweating out acid and hallucinogenic residuals. I was like tripping in this little box they put you in. I mean, I'm in construction. I've seen fiberglass coming out of my pores, all sparkly, like it's crazy. So my body was completely purged when I left there of all drug residuals. And it's really, I've never had a craving for heroin ever again. I mean,
was there ever a time in the whole journey, was there ever a time when you felt like you didn't want to be here anymore?
Multiple times.
How did you get through that?
I didn't die. I didn't die. As hard as I tried.
Interesting. So you did try.
Yeah, I injected 6 grams into my vein at one time, hoping to give myself a heart attack. I don't even think I got high from it. It didn't do anything to me. One of the scariest things that was ever said to me and my mother, the doctor said the likelihood of your son dying from a drug overdose is so minute. They've never seen a human body that could metabolize and process drugs so quickly. So if I overdosed, by the time that I hit the ground, within minutes, my body would metabolize these drugs and I'd wake right back up. And knowing that, I think, is really what took my addiction to a whole nother level.
Because you're like, fuck this. I'll show you.
I'm like, here's 1 for you. Here's 10 for me. Like, I was like, fuck, I'm in there.
Yeah.
And I took advantage of that and I abused it. But the crazy part about addiction is, like, I've noticed when people over time use different drugs, like me, I got big into cocaine. I had a buddy in my house one night. I couldn't go to sleep. He broke me a little piece of Oxy off. He's like, here.
Oh.
That was fucking it, dude. I was like, what the fuck am I staying up all night for? This feels way better.
Yeah.
That's where it took me from there. Mom got me to rehab. Cost her $31,000. I was there about 4 days, and you know, I'm just a cutthroat, no take shit kind of guy. I'm there like 4 days. I just got out of detox. I got into this was a beautiful place, like 40 acres on like in Louisiana. They got houses that we lived in. I lived in like a 4,000 square foot house with like 12 guys. It was great. It was like fucking. I'm like, shit. We all should have went to college, yo. We're idiots. It was like dorm life with drugs and alcohol.
That's good.
But it was. So I'm there fucking 4 days out of detox, and this kid starts talking shit, and I fucking put his head through the fucking wall.
Makes sense.
Adios, amigo. So they kicked me out. My mom got me a ticket, flew me home, flew me back to New Jersey. I went out with my buddy Pat, came home. I was so fucking disgustingly drunk and sick. I guess because I had no drug residuals in my body. You know what I mean? So I went out and got fucking wasted, came back, started puking all over the house, and my mom called the rehab and like, oh, he come back. My mom's like, well, you're gonna fucking take him back or he's gonna die this week. And they're like, oh, 10 grand. We'll take him back.
Wow.
Suspended me for 30 days. My mom's like 10 grand to get him back before 30 days. Like, so it's a total of $41,000 to go to rehab and get me to where I am today.
Amazing.
If anybody on here that's listening has somebody that's suffering for addiction, I have the best rehab in the world, or actually worldwide, this program. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you any information you need. The coolest part about it is the lady that my mom met, her son at the rehab, it's my brother. It's my brother. It's my best friend. I speak to this guy on a weekly basis, daily basis. He honored me with his presence at my wedding. In return, I honored him with a 20-minute speech and made him my honorary guest at my wedding. That's my brother, man. I still talk to him every day. My mom's gonna probably send him a whole copy of this anyway because he's not on Facebook. He doesn't do a social media thing, but she's probably gonna copy him. I'll get a call later from him. But I'm here. So that's first live.
Boom. So the first thing I want to do is where your phone is on your desk. There's a noise. No, listen to me. Stay focused. There's a noise coming across. So I don't know if you're tapping on the table or if there's any kind of noise.
How about now? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it just gave. It's like a. It's like
I keep hearing that. What the hell is that? Let me try to put the headphones back in.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, come on, go in the hole. All right. Better?
Oh Lord. Amen. Hallelujah. Welcome back.
I needed a little bit of juice.
Yeah, it's all good. So check this out, because the story is obviously phenomenal, and you know, I can't say I've met anyone with this kind of story or this deep. I've met people with different struggles of, you know, communism and
it gets a lot deeper. It gets a lot deeper. They're just, you know, there's still a statute of limitations on things.
Got it. Interesting. Got it.
Look, you know,
when is that over?
I left that one of the greatest parts. So I got big into cars in my addiction. And my mom was tired of her driveway, and she was tired of her garage being destroyed with oil and this and that. So she rented me and my little brother a warehouse. Warehouse was like, a new way to make money. Instead of like bringing in work, we were out like stealing cars, cutting these things up. People were like, well, how'd you get rid of it? I'm like, well, I'll be honest. I had 2 Mexican guys next there that did AC, and all they did was strip AC units down. So I just cut these cars up in pieces. They're like, oh, just throw it in my dumpster. I'll get rid of it. It was, yeah. I mean, my mom's gone above and beyond. I want to talk about her for a little bit and what she went through. I mean, my mom had cops showing up at her house on a daily basis. My mother doesn't care. If I shot someone tomorrow and murdered them in the street, my mom's going to defend me to hell and back. You know, it's what parents do. So my mom was always on guard. Ended up violating probation, went to jail. A kid that I robbed, actually, he went to jail. I had everything in my house, probably about $30,000 in cash, another $20,000 in drugs. He got arrested, and I'm like, I got all his money. Fuck him. I'm not bonding him out. So I left him in jail. I ended up, probably karma because I left him there. I went out and spent like 10 grand worth of his money in a night, partying with all my friends, hit every bar, owned the town for a couple days. I ended up getting arrested, violating probation, and this kid shows up to my house with five people, completely armed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like, you guys don't come outside and pay me, we'll just burn the house down till you come out. Like, I got involved with some really shifty characters, as my wife likes to call them. They're shifty. It's my wife's favorite word. Well, they're shifty people. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But that was one incident. My mom, I had a detective who had a crush on my mother. Thank God.
Boom! You go, Beth.
Yeah. So this guy wanted to have the hots for my mother, and gave her a phone call and said, "Look, we had a tip. We're going to be going over to your son's storage unit in the next few days. His little warehouse over there. You might want to go check it out." My mom went in there. This lady was loading up in her car, stolen car parts. Big thing was his Ford came out with the F-250s and F-350s. They came out with the tailgate had the step in it. You pull the step ladder out of the thing. Yeah. That's at the time, it was a $2,900 upgrade at the factory from the dealership. I was like, okay, someone put me on this hustle. I was stealing hundreds of them, $1,000 a pop, $1,000 a pop. My mom loaded up probably 20 of them things, dumping them all over the Everglades, here, there. My mom's dismantled dirty firearms, as I can put it. Dirty firearms, unloaded these things, broken down into pieces, and scattered them all over the God's green earth. Like, my mom go as far as purge herself in court to defend me, and that's just what a parent's love is. And
yeah.
Today I look back a lot on what I put my mother through, and especially now as a father, and it's disgusting. The hurt that I put onto my mother, and she's still affected by it today. I don't think she'll ever be the same again. No mother should have to go through what I put my mother through. People's parents and family suffer in addiction, but the relationship that I had with my mother, and I do have to stay with my mother, is very close. We had a rough beginning, me and my mom, before my dad came into our lives, and at the end of the day, it was always me and her. She's always had my back, and I've always had hers, and we've had conversations, Andre, about that. You're trying to help us, find our own identity in a way, I guess.
Sure.
And speaking with her, I can see the change. I talk to you, it helps me a lot. Getting on your Zoom calls has helped a lot, but I still live with guilt. I still live with the pain of just wanting to pick up the phone, just hit up my boy. How you doing? So
let me ask you this, because your mom, and I hear you. Your mom obviously was that angel that was the liaison between you and God, because obviously you have work to do here, and as much as you try to involve, you were kept alive with all the 6 grams and everything you tried. So
I've tried to hang myself one time. My little brother was sitting over here. He jacked me up while someone cut the rope.
Wow.
Caught me a couple times with garbage bags wrapped around my head.
Wow.
I want to live a lot. I had nothing to live for. I didn't have children. I didn't have any commitments. I had my drugs.
Yeah. So with all the stuff that you've been through, and the stories that you just told about your mom, to the levels she went to save your ass, what's something you've never told her that you would love to tell her now?
I don't think there is anything out there. That's the great part about it. No matter how deep in the shit I was or how bad and fucked up things were. I mean, even today, my mom's my go-to. 3:30 in the morning, I call my mom. I didn't wake my wife up. Because unless you lived
right
in this world that I created, you can't grasp it. Everybody's got their own story, and anybody who's been through drug addiction or alcoholism or anything like that, or any type of addiction for that matter, they understand the addiction thing.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you cannot grasp, like, I want to start a damn show as the stomach turns. You can't make up the things that have happened.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
oh man, this is the first time I really spoke about this to, like, more than just friends and family.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. No, so but
challenging.
listen, this just like you went through detox of the substance. Remember, these emotions are also addictive. Now you're going through detox of these substances, specific type of chemical the brain releases. So let me ask you a question. What
Anything.
if there was this utopian world where anything and everything was possible, and you could just for a quick snippet of time believe in yourself 100%, and you just felt comfortable in your own skin. You're 100% a badass. You're self-secure. You're confident. You love yourself. What would that feel like to you?
Probably somewhere around the same feeling I get watching my kids play, have fun, sleep. Like to watch my kids sleep. I don't know. Children are very peaceful when they sleep. They
Yeah,
don't have stress. They don't, there's no stress of life and reality. It's just play, 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 play. When they sleep, it's just peaceful. That's probably what I would want to feel. The same peace that my kids have when they sleep.
got it. So you would feel just a how about like
Contempt.
content?
Yeah, content.
Yeah, content. That's the that's the mother. That's the
Yeah,
mother of all.
yeah, content. If I could be, it's hard to be content with everything that's transpired. I'm comfortable in my skin. I've begun to forgive myself for a lot, but content would be great.
Do you believe it's possible one day?
There's still a lot of things to need to be done, but yeah, I mean, starting with, I'd like to retire my mother. That would, if I could retire my mother, that would do a lot for me mentally.
Sure.
Since I took her retirement from her. So if I could give that back to her and my father, it would, I mean, my dad's been there through all this shit. And I mean, my dad never smoked cigarettes, never smoked weed, never drank. And he never really had a grasp of anything. Like I could sit there and do lines off his desk in front of him. He would have no clue.
Mm,
He never was open to this stuff. I mean, I'd
right.
smoke pills in the house. He didn't even know what the smell was. He thought it was like burnt food. So it was like an education for him as well. But if I could do something, I want to retire them. That would definitely help me mentally. You know,
Yeah. So check this out. There's that concept of this needs to happen in order for this to happen, right? So my question for you is it possible one day for you to feel content, which just simply means that you're comfortable in your own skin? And your answer is yeah, but it would make me feel really good if this thing
there's just accomplishments that I have to
I get it.
make for myself
I
to
know.
get to that feeling.
I know, but what I want to share with you is you can get there faster. You can get to those accomplishments faster. You can retire mom faster if you feel content sooner. You follow me?
That's
Because the state that you're in, the state that the Justin that shows up to every
that's the
day life.
that's the crossroad I'm at right now.
I know where you're at, bro. I got you. You follow me?
That's why I love you.
Yeah, so your goal is to feel like a badass every single fucking day because you are. All you got to do now is believe it.
Yeah.
So the journey is to take the thoughts and your words into the direction of I am a badass and the belief, because belief happens out of putting the brain into theta mode, which means hypnosis or repetition.
Mm-hmm.
That's how habits happen. You just repeat. So
30 days to make a habit, 30 days to break a habit.
Boom. So
my mom's told me that my whole life.
Yeah.
It holds true.
No, it's just science. We're not that complicated. These human being things.
these things.
we fuck it up, but it's really simple.
Yeah. God gave us everything and gave us free will. Worst thing he ever gave us, God, was free will.
Yeah. Yeah, but if we didn't have free will, we'd be complaining. It's like, really? You didn't give me freaking free will?
You wouldn't know any better.
That's right.
You wouldn't know any better.
That's right. So listen, I guess I knew part of your story. I didn't know the depth of the story, and I'm sure there's more. But the more I understand and the more I know you today after 50 minutes of conversation, I just got to tell you, you're here for some big shit.
I know. I'm just
big.
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
You know what it is. I'm gonna call bullshit on that one.
I mean, I think my nonprofit and helping people is a major step. I mean, I got a lot of people. I mean, Candace Bird Davis wants to jump on board with me, offer to become a partner in it with me.
Yeah.
You know, it's her brother's story. I'm sure you know that. I mean, he suffered with addiction. I think she lost a nephew. So we spoke, actually, me and her in Philly about this. And she's like, when you're ready to do this, she's like, give me a call. And, you know, I'd love to be part of it with you. I'd love to help you out. I'd love to be involved. So, I mean, this whole thing, HempWorx and My Daily Choice, I mean, I met some great people.
Absolutely.
If I took nothing else from it, I mean, you, Candace, and handfuls of people that like I consider family at this point.
That's right.
And this is where I'm at, you know. I'm a lot more level-headed in life, and, you know, I just turned 30 this last year, and it's a new start, new me.
Amen. I believe. Yeah. So listen, I'll speak over you for a minute because.
Go ahead.
For me, I'm all about energy. I'm looking at your eyes. You're radiating a phenomenally powerful spirit. I mean, you're really, really powerful. So what I see for you, because as you know, I'm into self-development heavily. I'm into helping people get through their own shit. I'm into anxiety, depression, suicide, panic, because there's an epidemic today. So looking at the teens today, looking at the kids that are suffering on cell phones all day, and they didn't get enough Facebook likes, they didn't get enough attention, the person didn't say that they're amazing, the video was hot, their post wasn't great, so now they're coming out of, you know, being 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, 14 years old, having what? They're depressed. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. What the fuck? Because of Facebook? Because of Instagram? So check this out, because for me, that is an epidemic. And in a few years, guess what? Those fuckers are going to be adults. Those little kids, those teens, they're going to be running the world, and it's scary. So here's what I see.
It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess.
But think of the opioid problem. It's only, I mean, the machine is being fed right now to produce more customers. So
I mean, look, you can see the people in the industry, how they've changed over the years.
Yeah.
Look at Quaaludes. Quaaludes were horrible, and they took them off the market.
Yeah. They weren't
taking. They're not taking oxys off.
No, not yet. Soon.
Oh, thank God, it has to.
Hey, Daddy's home. Daddy's home. His name is Trump, and he's kicking ass. So, but here's what I feel for you, brother. I really feel.
There we go.
There it is. There it is.
Waiting for the acquittal today, hopefully.
I think it's going to happen Wednesday. But so listen to me. I really feel. I feel your foundation is going to be a phenomenal success, and you're going to help a lot of people. But I truly, what I just see right now is you're going to become a public speaker, and your whole mission is going to help people around the world, maybe even Mars. We'll see what Elon does. Deal with this crap and be able to move people into feeling content, because nobody does drugs. Nobody's addicted to any kind of substance if they were feeling content.
Absolutely.
Follow me?
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's what you're here. You're here for some big fucking shit.
I mean, that kind of hits it on the hammer. You know, I don't know. That's the best way to put it. You know, if you're content, you don't need anything else.
No. Listen, like to really wrap up this conversation, this is it. Addiction on all levels. I don't care what type of addiction it is. It's only there because there's an emptiness inside.
Yep.
End story.
I felt empty when my grandmother passed, and that's where it started.
Bam.
And everything else just filled the void.
Boom. Well, I guess I'm actually very, very excited for what you're about to do in the world. This conversation was phenomenal for me. So thank you for sharing.
Me as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being vulnerable, because that's listen, the only way we can touch people is by being vulnerable and by being real and by being, there's a word organic today, but your conversation today will touch many, many people as this video gets shared and all that fun stuff. So
I hope it does. Like I said, reach out to me. Anybody that needs help with someone struggling in addiction, reach out.
Okay, awesome. How can somebody get a hold of you? What's the best way? If they
Facebook.
So Messenger the shit out of it. Okay.
Yeah, send me on Messenger. If you know somebody that personally knows me, get my phone number.
Awesome.
So that's it. I'm here to help.
Awesome. Boom. Thank you for your time, brother. Congratulations.
No, thank you. Thank you for yours. It was an honor.
And we'll say happy birthday. Is that cool?
That's fine by me.
It's happy birthday. Welcome to Justin 2.0, man. Very proud.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this day with me. It means a lot.
Amen. Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too. We'll talk soon. Have a great day, everybody.
You know the rules. As we wrap up this Facebook Live, you're going to tag somebody that needs to hear this, share the information with them. Please let us know your biggest takeaway from the conversation with Justin here. And, of course, run your watch parties and get this message out there, because if this can save one life, if this can get one person off opioids, if this can get one family to maybe stay together longer, it's endless. What we are up against here in this epidemic is powerful, and Justin's message today with his nonprofit launching on July 4 is going to be a big deal. So anybody interested in that, also get a hold of him, and let's rock and roll. Love you, man. Have a phenomenal day.
Love you too. You too.
Bye, everybody. Peace.